50.9 to 48.2.
It's only 50,000 votes now. It's just shrunk a bit.
It's just shrunk a bit as you're starting to fill the map in. And again, when you fill the map in up here, you can expect Donald Trump to make up ground. The challenge for Donald Trump is a lot of these smaller counties, when you look at them, you're not much in that county there. I'm trying to come over and see we have a percentage, 92% of the vote in here, and you see it's not that many votes. So 6,000 gap there. That's one of the things we're going to watch as we get closer to 100% of the vote in, is what's missing. And if it's the smaller counties, there's only so much math you can make up. But let's look at the state as we go through it right now. This is going down to the wire and a nail biter. Osceola County, it's only 1.4% of the state population, but it's in that important I-4 corridor. Jake was just talking about, Jeff Zeleny mentioned earlier, the Clinton people, in the age of big data, you know what you need. You know how many registered voters are. You have an expectation of turnout, and you run these computer models, and you run your list, and you turn out your voters. And if you get to a number where you're happy, you see 63% there, let's go back in time, 62%. If you're the Clinton campaign, if you're outperforming President Obama, you think that's enough. Now, Donald Trump is a very unorthodox candidate. Is he going to drive up turnout in these Republican areas is the counterbalance to that. But if you're the Clinton campaign, you want to get your Democrats out. And in most of the places, they are doing that. 53% for the president there 4 years ago, 53.3% for Secretary Clinton. Now, this is a bit of a down for Secretary Clinton, and this is a swing area. This is Pinellas County, where St. Pete is, 49.8, so just shy of 50 for Secretary Clinton. The president did a little bit better here. So you find some areas where she's overperforming, some areas where she's underperforming, and then you start to watch. You pull out here right now. Let's come back to this year's race, and you're looking not only for what's missing. We have no votes at all up here. This is very conservative territory. Donald Trump's going to run up some numbers here, but then you want to come down here and say we still don't have percentages here. So this tells us what we have is the early vote. Most of what we have, if not all of what we have here, is the early vote. We haven't. From the precincts, we're not getting percentage reporting yet. And that's a big factor in the sense that what this tells us, we don't know how many, because early voting has become so important, but it tells us there are more votes down here, which is good news for Secretary Clinton.
North Carolina, Hillary Clinton has a lead there in North Carolina as well. Half the vote in North Carolina is now in, John. And,
right. As I pull it out, I just want to tell our viewers as we go through the night like this, when you see me go to the national map, because it's shaded doesn't mean it's over there. That's leading. On this map, it's live data feed. So you'll see states switch back and forth. Just a moment ago, Hillary Clinton was leading in Alabama. And
51% of the vote in North Carolina. Now in, she has a lead, 51.9% to 45.7% in North Carolina.
And so now you start looking, when you get above the halfway mark, then you start looking at your major population centers, how much of the vote is in. Is it tracking throughout the night repeatedly? We hadn't had any votes in Durham earlier. Again, now we have some Durham votes, but the percentage, this is an early drop of votes in from Durham County, 85%. Remember, 76% for the president 4 years ago. If that percentage holds up, that's what Secretary Clinton needs in a state that is one of the ultimate tug-of-war states in American politics. I want to come back over to Wake County, 9+% of the state population, 2/3 of the vote in there. She's getting close to 60% of the vote to 37%. Again, you match it up to try to do the math compared to 4 years ago, where this was such a close state, carried by Governor Romney 4 years ago. Secretary Clinton's doing what she needs to do here. So you're looking for Donald Trump, and you're saying, where can he pull up the vote? Let's go back and look at the Romney win. And you see all this red down here, right? So Donald Trump needs to run it up along the coast all the way down. Let's come back in it here. Mitt Romney carried here, New Hanover County, 2% of the state population. This is where Melania Trump introduced Donald Trump the other day. He had an airport rally here. Smart campaigns know where you got to win, but at the moment, it's the tiniest of margins. But if this county stays blue, that's a sign the Clinton campaign is not only holding the Democratic areas, but encroaching and taking a few votes. And again, this is what the big vote swing came here in Mecklenburg County. She's at 66%, but we still have that's a low vote total for what's almost 10% of the state population. So we still have more votes to come here. So if you're the Clinton campaign at 53%, you're looking at this, you know it's going to go late, but with what's still out there, you're encouraged at the moment. But we have a lot of these smaller areas, and it's 2,000 here, 500 here, maybe 2,000 there. There's still some potential out there for Donald Trump as the rural areas fill in.
Yeah, I mean, she's ahead by about 150,000 votes with 53% of the vote in. That's significant.
It is significant because it gets harder. Donald Trump, again, in the big population centers, Hillary Clinton is winning, and she's winning by some pretty lopsided margins so far. So for Donald Trump, number one, shrink the margins in these major population centers. As the later vote comes in, you're hoping they're coming in maybe from, this is for the city, you're hoping they come in from the suburban areas, the farther out areas, and you run up the vote a little bit. Number two, in the smaller rural areas that are still out, Donald Trump has to hope for very healthy margins. And you go through some of these, you see what I'm talking about. Only 5% of the vote in Stokes County, he's getting 73%. So, it's a couple thousand votes here. We have no votes over here yet. So it's out there, but if she keeps running up impressive numbers in the big population centers, simple math, it gets you over the top because the Democrats are winning where more people live. It's, again, arithmetic in the end. But at the moment, that's a healthy lead. You're 53% of the vote in North Carolina. The question is, how fast is the rest
they're keeping the polls open in Durham at least an extra hour because there were some problems there. Let's take a look at Ohio.
Blue at the moment. If that one stays blue at the end of the night, if we can call it. Remember, it was the day after in 2004.
By the way, I want to show our viewers Texas. We showed as blue. That's only because the votes that have been released so far. They haven't closed the votes there, but she's leading right now in Texas, but barely. But that doesn't necessarily mean much.
Barely, because it's San Antonio. You have one place report early. Again, watch us throughout the night. Remember, we haven't called these races. We have different maps and different graphics. If you're looking at this, you're looking at a live data feed. Same for Ohio. We haven't called New Hampshire yet. It's blue at the moment. But Ohio, excuse me, if Ohio stays blue, Hillary Clinton's the next president of the United States. That's simple. But we're early. We're only up to 27% of the vote there. And you see that looks like a big swing, but you don't know what's out. So you go through this. At the moment, we did not have any votes out of the Cleveland area, Cuyahoga County, earlier. And this is 32% of the vote, 68-29 if rounded up, 69-30. So it's a matching. Right now, it's a matching 2012. This state ended 2012 with a narrow Obama victory.
President Obama carried Ohio twice.
Carried Ohio twice. And so if you're the Clinton campaign, you like these numbers, you're waiting to see. Another key place to look is down here. Hamilton County used to be Republican. Used to be a Republican area. And the Democrats have made up a lot of ground here in recent years. This is just early vote because we don't have a percentage right there. So we'll wait and see if this one stays like that. But if Hamilton County's blue at the end of the night in a presidential race, it's usually good for the Democrats as well. One of the questions was, would Donald Trump cut into the Democratic support in places like Akron? You just associate the blue-collar workers and look at the margin right there.
I want to go to Florida right now because 85% of the vote in Florida is in, look at this, 3,876,000, 3,860,000, only about 15 or 16,000 votes separate these two candidates in Florida with 85% of the vote in. Her lead, once again, has shrunk.
Has shrunk, and again, what filled in? Some more areas up here filled in. Well, last time we were here, we had a big opening up here. Now we have a smaller opening up here, and you get
just changed again. It's only 11,000 vote lead. Just now it changed.
Math on your feet. I like this. Well, we have a living abacus right here as we go through. But as you watch it fill in, it gets important to start going up to these counties and say, we don't have a lot of vote here still. So there's votes to be made up for Donald Trump as you do this. And as you go through, that's what I mean about this. You're seeing a live data feed into the wall, so it will change as we're talking sometimes. Trump's doing what he needs to do in the rural areas.
All right, take a look at Florida, because all of a sudden, take a look at Florida right now. You see with 85% of the vote in, Hillary Clinton is now in second place. Donald Trump has taken the lead in Florida. He's got 3,900,000, 3,900,029. Look at how close it is. Look at how 700 votes or so separate these two candidates. Donald Trump, all of a sudden, has taken the lead in Florida.
740 votes there. You remember a campaign long ago, 537 votes.
That would be 2,000.
That's what Florida is. I mean, Florida and North Carolina are these two states that are just 50-50 battleground states, and why we're going to have to count deep into the night. 86% right now. So you start asking yourself, what am I missing? And significantly, remember last time I went to Pinellas County here, Hillary Clinton was leading. Donald Trump has pulled ahead. Now you think 48.3, 47.9, does that make a difference? Well, it sure does when the margin in the state is inside of 1,000 votes. Winning a county like this where you have a population center, it sure does. And so you have a tug of war here. This is interesting because earlier today, a Democrat who was organizing down here said they got out on their early vote. They felt very encouraged, but then they saw the lines at the polls this morning.
Trump right now is 918 votes ahead. 918 votes. Almost 8 million people have already, their ballots have been counted, and he's got a lead of just under 1,000 votes.
86%. So we're going to look here. Let's go down again. I just want to go down and look Collier County, 92%. This is where you start looking when the race is this close. What are we missing? So you're missing 8% here, but they're getting there, right? So you got most of the vote counted there. So then you come over here and get 80% here. So if this margin...
take a look at this. We'll just change it. Yeah. She has now taken the lead once again. Hillary Clinton is now in the lead. It's going to update in a second. We're watching this very closely. You can see right there. Hillary Clinton is the lead. She's got 3,972, 3,968, 4,000 vote lead.
And that's, look, we're going to rock and roll with this for a while here. So let's go through. Here's an encouraging sign for Secretary Clinton. You say she just pulled into the lead. We've had a seesaw in the 2 or 3 minutes we've been having this conversation here. We may have another one as we have it.
3,000 votes.
But there are votes. There are only 25% of the vote in Palm Beach County. She's winning 60-40, 59-39 there. So if you're the Clinton campaign, you're watching this seesaw, you know there's a lot of votes missing from here. Let's go down to Broward County. We don't have the percentages here yet, so that tells me this is early vote, and we're not getting live votes yet. We'll see. We'll get some more votes, and that percentage will jump up very quickly. Doesn't mean 0%, obviously. It just means when they dump in the early votes, they don't give us a percentage. Miami-Dade up to 80%. So there's more votes here. She's winning big.
She's 1,600 votes ahead right now.
Reasonable to expect she'll get more votes out of here. The challenge for Donald Trump is, in the areas that are red, what's missing? This is an interesting one for me. I've been watching this all night because Duval County, this is where Donald Trump had a rally the other day. The President of the United States came in after him. Duval County is a Republican area. Trump is up right now 49-47, but when President Obama won narrowly 4 years ago, he lost this county by 3 points. Sometimes it's about the margins. You see the blue and the red, you think Democrat, Republican, but the margins within these large counties can make a big difference. And President Obama came within 3 points in Duval County. They were happy with that 4 years ago because they knew they were going to get the votes in Miami-Dade and the others. So if Hillary Clinton is this close in Duval County, she can lose this. If she's losing this county by that, she's fine with that. The question is, can she keep the margin from getting any bigger? And that's the math you start to get into when you get up to 87% like this, and you are in a seesaw of less than 1,000 votes there.
Stand by. We're watching Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, other battleground states throughout this election night in America. We're going to show you the results in a very unique way on one of the world's most famous landmarks, the Empire State Building in New York City. Take a look at our running tally of the electoral vote built with CA technologies. Right now, Hillary Clinton has 68 of the 270 electoral votes needed to win the White House. Donald Trump has 48. This night is all about your vote. You're looking at pictures from many of the millions of Americans who already have made their choice for president. They posted these photos on Instagram with the hashtag #MyVote. Right now, we're counting down to the next round of poll closings, including results from New York, the home base.